In this lecture, we are going to learn about the conditional operator which is used for decision making in C. Now this operator is also called as the ternary operator as it works with three operands, and the operator looks like this. It has question mark and then a colon like this. Alright, let's see the syntax of the conditional operator. This is the syntax of conditional operator. Okay, this is the question mark and this is the colon available here. Now there are expressions available in between the question mark and the colon. Let's see what does it mean. The first expression is the expression that will be evaluated at first. Okay, this would be generally a conditional expression. This conditional expression may evaluate to either true or false. If expression 1 evaluates to true, then only then the expression 2 would be evaluated. Okay, so this is as good as the true statement of the if-else statement. Okay, so whenever the expression 1 becomes true, then you evaluate expression 2, and whenever expression 1 becomes false, then you evaluate expression 3. This is how it works. So this is two-way decision making statement. Okay, so this is the true statement that is executed if this condition, that is the expression 1, is true, and expression 3 is the false statement that will be evaluated whenever expression 1 becomes false. So this is how it works. The point to note here is that the conditional operator is exactly the same as the if-else statement. Let us understand this operator in more details by looking at this example of finding the largest of two numbers, let's say A and B. First of all, we need to write down our conditional expression to check which one is largest amongst A and B. So for this, we can use the relational less than or relational greater than operator. Let's use the greater than operator. So the expression would be A greater than B. Alright, so this would either be true or false. Whenever this expression is true, we will execute the true statement. So in this case, the true statement would be printing that A is largest. So I'll write printf A is largest. And whenever the expression is false, then B is largest, right? So in this false statement, I'll write printf B is largest. So now let's try to put this in the conditional operator. Okay, so first we'll have to write the expression 1, which in this case is nothing but A greater than B. Then obviously we'll give a question mark. Okay, so now I'll write the true statement here and I'll give colon and write the false statement here. Okay, then I'll give the semicolon, as you have to do this in any C statement. So here I'll write printf A is largest, and in the false part, false statement that will be executed is printf B is largest will come here. Now the output of this entire expression would work in this way. Let's say if A is 5 and B is 10. Okay, so if A is 5 and B is 10, so this is 5 greater than 10, which is false. So it will go to the false part. So this will be executed. So the output of this entire expression would be this statement, that is, it will print B is largest in the screen. Okay, so B is largest will be printed in the screen. Okay, so whenever A is 10 and B is 5, now this is true because 10 is greater than 5 is true, so it will execute the true part. It will execute A is largest, and A is largest is displayed in the screen. So out of these two statements, any one of them will be executed. So they are mutually exclusive. Any one of them will be executed. So this is how conditional operator works. Now let's try to see this problem, very interesting problem, to find the largest amongst three numbers. Now let's look at this very interesting problem to find the largest amongst three numbers. Now let's try to solve this from the human's perspective, how we human beings perceive this problem and how do we actually find out the largest amongst three numbers. Let's say there are three numbers A, B and C. 46, 290 and 62 is displayed to you in a screen. Now you are asked which one is largest. You will immediately say that 290 is the largest number, isn't it? Because we can actually perceive these three numbers at a time. Okay, so we are highly parallel in nature. Our brain is very powerful, right? We at a time can glance through all these three numbers, 46, 290 and 62 at the same time. And from these three numbers, we will decide that 290 is the largest. This is how it works. If I give you four numbers, what happens is, let's say I give you 196 here, you can still decide that the largest number is 290. Right? But this is not how computers work. Computer will not be able to visualize or not be able to glance through all these numbers at once. Computer can only look at one number at a time. or at max 2 numbers at a time, because if you are using the relational operator, greater than operator, you can only see 2 numbers at a time. So how do you write a program to find out the largest amongst 3 numbers is what we are going to see now. Let's look at the computer's perspective now. Okay, so to solve any problem using a computer program, you need to think as a computer. So how do you think as a computer? It's very simple. Do not visualize all the objects at once like we human beings do. Okay, what you do is you think as a computer, and you only can visualize or glance or have the access of one object at a time, or at max, if you are comparing 2 numbers, you have access of 2 numbers at a time, right? Let's say you are using the greater than operator. It is a binary operator, so you can use 2 operands. You can take 2 operands of this operator, right? So at once you can only work with 2 operands. So let's see how to find out the largest among these 3 numbers. So idea is very simple. So first you take any 2 numbers, okay, and then find the largest amongst 2 numbers first. Okay, so how do I find out the largest amongst 2 numbers? I'll just write, let's say that L is the largest amongst first 2 numbers. Okay, let's say the largest number is L. So how do I find out L? Is very simple. L is equals to, so I'll use the conditional operator. I'll check A greater than B. This is the condition. If this condition is true, which is largest? If A is greater than B is true, A is largest. If this is false, B is largest. So L would be having the largest number stored into it. Okay, so L is the largest amongst first 2 numbers A and B. So we have used the conditional operator once. Now we need to find the largest amongst L and C. Okay, so let's say the largest amongst L and C is called as largest. Okay, so what is largest here? Okay, see, we are just taking 2 numbers at a time. That's the important point that you need to note down here. Okay, now what is the largest amongst L and C? It's very simple. You do the comparison. L is greater than C. If L is greater than C, obviously L is the largest. Otherwise, C is the largest. Okay, so largest would be storing L if L is largest, and will be storing C if C is largest. So by just writing these 2 conditional statements, you will be able to find the largest amongst 3 numbers. I hope you have understood this concept. Now let's write down a computer program to demonstrate the same. So I've already created this program called as largest of 3.c, wherein I've already initialized 3 variables A, B and C, and the input for these 3 variables are already taken. Okay, as we have discussed in the example, we will be needing one more variable, L. L is nothing but the largest amongst A and B. Okay, I need one more variable, largest. Okay, this is nothing but largest amongst L and C. Once variable declaration is done, we can now write down our find out the largest amongst A and B. Very simple. I'll just write A greater than B. If it is true, I'll write A, otherwise B. Okay, now L is the largest amongst A and B. Now I need to find the largest amongst L and C. So how do I find out that? So I'll just write largest is equals to, I'll compare L and C. L greater than C. If it is true, L is largest. If it is false, C is largest. So finally, largest should be having the largest of A, B and C. So now let's try to print the largest value here. So this is done. Okay, now let's open our terminal. Now let's try to compile this code. Run this. So let's try to enter 3 numbers. Let's say 12, 34 and 67. So it says largest is 67. I had inserted the largest number at the last position. But whenever you are testing your program, you have to test with all the cases. So let's try to make the first number as the largest number. Okay, let's run this program one more time. Let's say first number is 123, second number is 34 and third number is 67. Here 123 is the largest number, which is correct. Whenever you have written down your program, it's very important to test your program with all possible inputs. So we are trying with all possible scenarios. Okay, in that case, if something is wrong in our code, we will be able to fix it. Okay, now I'll make sure that my largest number is the second number. Okay, so let's say first number is 12, second number is 45, I'll make it largest, and third one is 23. Okay, so all 3 scenarios covered here. It should give 45 as the answer, and 45 is the largest, which is the correct answer. Okay, so with this note, we will end this lecture. In this lecture, we have learned how conditional operator works, and very important concept, we have learned how computer thinks. Okay, computer has only access of 1 or 2 objects at a time, depending upon which operator you are working with. So always think as a computer whenever you are trying to solve any real world problem using a computer program. Okay, and the third important point that we have covered in this lecture is that whenever you are actually testing your program, please make sure to provide all different scenarios of the input so that you are very much sure that your program works with all input types. Okay, so that's all in this lecture. Stay tuned.